Hello friends, welcome to second episode of Flowable DMN Basics and Overview series. Here we are going to discuss about decision table components, different DMN hit policies and their usage. In case you have missed to watch the first episode of DMN Basics, then you can click on the icon appearing just right top corner of your screen. So let's get started with the second episode of this series. First of all, let's understand what is the decision table all about. A decision table represents a decision logic which can be depicted as a table in DMN. It consists of inputs, outputs, and rules to evaluate the output basis types of the hit policies we are using. Overall, it serves the purpose to evaluate business conditions in a workflow, or in very simplest terms, it is similar to an if else condition like we have in any other programming language to evaluate the business conditions. Let's see what all are the various elements we can have in a decision table, or in nutshell how a decision table looks like in Flowable. Mainly we can divide it into three parts. First, hit policies which we are using. Second, input output variables and its data types and operators associated. This is somehow a decision table looks like in Flowable, where each row in a decision table is an individual rule. The columns represents the input, and at the end one or occasionally more than one is an output condition. Each input cell in a rule represents a true or false conditions for that input, like does it match a particular value or fall into a specified range, etc. A hyphen in the cell means the input is irrelevant in this rule and the cell value is true by default. If all the input cells for the rule evaluate to true, the rule is set to match and the output cell value is selected at the decision table output. Now let's see how a decision table looks like in a Flowable designer or modeler. For this, we should open a Flowable design and go into the decisions. I have already created a few of the decisions, so I'll open one of them. And here, if you open in the left top corner, you will see a sign which is symbolized for the available hit policy or which policy you are using. So by using that, we can use one of the hit policy from the drop down list in Flowable. Overall, there are 7 types of hit policies available, which we are going to discuss one by one in later part of this episode. Let me cancel this. And here we can see we can have 1 to n number of input variables in a decision table, which should be predefined in the workflow and which has an associated data type, label, and an optional values. If you click on this input variable, you can see these values. You can have a label, name, type, and optional allowed values. The similarly you can have in the and you have an output variable which also has the similar properties like a variable id, variable type, column name, etc. So label you can give any name, variable id you can give which will be a unique variable id, and variable type is something you need to select from the drop down list. So Flowable allows 4 types of variable types: string, number, boolean, or date. Let me cancel it. So overall in this decision table you can see this is the name of the decision table: order food. Here F symbolizes the first hit policy, and here we can have 3 input parameters which is taste, price, and spiciness. So taste and price are associated as a string variables, however spiciness is associated as a number data type. And in the end we have this output as a restaurant which is a type of string data type. And here each individual row in this decision table uh, is a separate business rule which is evaluated based upon the input condition. Now let's discuss in detail about the hit policies we have in Flowable. So hit policies is used to define how the decision table manages inputs that matches several rules in order to give you an output decision. There are total 7 different types of hit policies available in Flowable decision table, and which is further categorized into two categories: single hit and multiple hit policies. We have 4 different types of hit policies which falls into the single hit policies. The hit policies unique, priority, any, and first will always returns a maximum of one satisfied rule. So they are also known as single hit policies. Whereas multiple hit policies results, the tables may return the output of multiple rules. And we have 3 different hit policies which falls into this category, and they are collect, rule order, and output order. Now let's discuss all these 7 hit policies in detail one by one. The hit policy unique is indicated by the character U that enforces that rules do not overlap. All the rules are disjoint and only a single rule can be matched. This is also known as the default policy, and overlapping rules represents an error for the unique hit policy. The second one is the first, which is represented by the character F. Here the rules are evaluated from top to bottom, and rules may overlap, and overlapping rules may have different output values. The hit policy selects the first matching rule, and a common rule of this hit policy is a table in which the last rule has an empty condition columns and specifies a default result, which is returned if none of the other values match. Anything which you can do with the first hit tables, you can also do with the p tables, which is priority tables. However, the use of this hit policy is not recommended because it introduces an other dependencies between the rules, which means that the decision table do not offer a clear overview of the decision logic and are often hard to validate. The third hit policy, which falls into the single hit policy, is priority, which is represented by the character P. The rule outputs are prioritized and rules may overlap, but only the match with the highest output priority will get counted. Multiple rules can be matched here. The result is the output value with the highest output priority, and when there are more than two possible output values, p tables can be misleading to untrained users. This hit policy can only be used if the domain of the conclusion information item is an enumeration. The output priority is defined by the order in which the enumeration values are defined in the domain. The first value has the highest priority. In the last single hit policy, what we have is any, which is represented by the character A, and multiple matching rules must not make a difference with any hit policy, which means multiple rules can be matched here. And all matching rules must lead to a same output. If the output entries are not equal, the hit policy is incorrect and it will result to an error condition. So this is all about the single hit policies what we have in Flowable. Now let's discuss with an example where developers needs to understand the relative advantages and disadvantages of unique, any, and priority tables. We will compare the 3 decision tables with this example, which is modeled to perform a loan pre-qualification prior to obtaining the credit score. The output value is need credit score. If the loan to value, which is LTV ratio, is less than or equal to 80%, the affordability category is medium or high, and the borrower risk category is low or medium. Any other combination of the input value results in decline. Let's start with the unique hit policy, where the U table has an advantage that any combination of the input values matches exactly one rule, so the resulting output is always crystal clear, which is the main advantage of using unique policy. Similar business case can be also modeled with any hit policy, which is shown here in this decision table diagram. This decision table diagram has an advantage that it is simpler to construct. Also, it is isolating each reason for declining the loan in a separate rule. A loan application with LTV greater than 80%, low affordability, and high borrower risk will actually match all of these three rules, but they all have the same output value decline. Now, the same business case we can develop with the priority table, which has only two rules in this case, including an else rule. Notice in this one decline is the lowest priority. So this is how for the same business conditions you can use different hit policies basis upon your understandings and benefits of that respective hit policy. With this, let's move on to discuss the next topic, which is multiple hit policies, and multiple results tables may return the output of multiple rules. We have three different types of multiple hit policies in Flowable, which is collection, rule order, and output order. So a rule order is something where all matching rules results in a list of outputs, which is ordered by the sequence of those rules in a decision table. However, the output order multiple hit policy is something where matching rules results in a list of outputs which ordered by their decreasing output priority. And the last is collection multiple hit policies, where the output of all matching rules is aggregated by the means of an operator. So we have different type of collect aggregations, which is collect sum, collect count, collect minimum, and collect max. So collect sum is something which add up all the matching rules with the distinct outputs and can only be used with conclusion information in terms of the domain, integer, number, or money. Whereas collect count represents the number of all matching rules distinct outputs, or the result is the number of hits in this decision table. The next is collect minimum, which takes the smallest value of all the matching rules output. And the last is collect maximum, which takes the largest value of all the matching rules outputs. So I hope it was easy to follow and helpful. Thanks for watching. Please continue to watch the third episode of this DMN series for demo of decision table using flowable design and validate the rules using the flowable work. Please like and share this video and subscribe to my channel if it is helpful. Till then, stay safe and stay healthy. See you in the next episode with a quick demo on DMN.